Hello, what's a crack a day, boys? And we're back for a second episode of Workers and Resources Soviet Republic, where we've been setting up the nuclear power for our country. Now, in between episodes, I have added in the roads I was speaking about to every basically building, all the cable car lines and everything like that. I've also started to repave our capital. I put down roads with street lights in it, and I'll be basically all the towns. I'll pretty much redo the roads inside them because they're all a bit skiff and they don't look as nice. So I'd like to get them all lined up and make them look a lot better. So I've done that while in between episodes, and I also put a power substation in here to power these conveyor belts, which I'd forgotten to do. But anyway, on this episode, we will be continuing setting up our nuclear power plant, and hopefully we can get that up and running a day. And we'll also, if we do get that up and running, we'll probably be moving in and doing a little bit around our capital here. We'll probably start some transport around it or different things like that. So anyway, we'll get stuck right into it and we'll get started. So, where we left off last time is we had everything basically hooked up, but we need to get train lines from here over to here. So I'll probably get the train lines in first and then work everything else around the train lines. So initially I'm just going to demolish this road. As I said in the last episode, if we do the roads after we place all the buildings, it makes it life 100 million times easier, so we'll do that first. Now, I will say as well, if you chuck down in the comments, I don't know if I put this in the last video, but if you want, what I can do is I can chop these videos up, and instead of doing 45-minute episodes, I can make them shorter and just show you the end products once I've built things. But I think it'll be a lot more helpful to people actually seeing the full time scale of things and everything like that, you know. So anyway, let's get a train line round. So take that around there just now. What we'll do is we'll flatten this level here, flatten this here, and you see we've got a big step. We'll get that sorted. So take it off of this warehouse, and that'll give us a nice straight line. Make it look bonny. There we go. And then we'll just flatten the ground, and that should give us a nice gentle curve round. And we'll take it down here like this, and then we'll bring it along the side of this road. Maybe just down along the coast probably. Will that join up nicely? Probably like it a little bit smoother than that, so we'll take this back just a smidge and then we'll connect that up. Lovely, I think that'll be good. Cool, and then we'll need to put in the second line, because this will be basically a two-sided road essentially. To here. There's a little bit of a hump in that rail there. What I'll do is I'll just quickly just delete that, smoothing off this ground a little bit, and that should make it a lot nicer to look at. Make my OCD a little bit better. There we go. Then with this, this will be accessed from one direction only. So we'll just put it in connected to this track, and then we'll need another junction over to take it to that track so we can go back and forth. Then we will need to take a line over here, join this up, so long. There we go, perfect. We do the autosave finishes, and then we can take this across to like that, same point as that track connects. We can take it to there. Lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Now we'll probably only have one train on each of these, so the dual tracking this all the way up to here is probably a bit overkill, but we'll do that anyway. Then we need to attach the chemical warehouse to the lines, so we'll take this over here. Use a scroll wheel to change the curve of your tracks. I think that's a new feature, but it's amazing anyway. Makes life a whole lot easier. Either it's a new feature or I've just completely missed it every single time I played this game. And we'll only need to access this chemicals track from this direction. So we'll just add it into there and then switch the tracks to there. And then temporarily, until we eventually connect it to a train network, we're just going to put a depot at the end here and connect the two tracks to it. And then we'll let this build, and then that will allow us to place all our semaphores, and then we can build around those tracks. So just let them build to there, and we'll add our semaphores in. Now, I don't think I have any way. I suppose I will have it here, will I? No, I won't. No, I can't show you the chain signals yet. It took me forever to work out how the chain signals actually worked. I now know how they work, but it took me forever to work it out. I'll probably, once I come to actually do it, I'll put a note on the video to say and help everybody learn how they actually work, because they work sort of kind of differently to any other game that involves train, rail lines and everything like that. So put this up here, and we'll just about a train's width. I don't want the train stopping on any of the junctions and blocking them, so I won't put a semaphore there, because then the tail end of the train is going to block this. Put one there, and then we can put another one on the way back, and that allows them all to work. So once the depot's been built up, we can buy a train for it, and what we'll do is we'll just put a train with one carriage, open cart carriage for these uranium oxide to take it back to the nuclear power plant facility. It only really needs one. When I've done it before, building these, it takes forever for these processing plants to actually produce the uranium oxide, so one car will do fine. So we'll just go buy something. What will we go for? What will we go for, boys? I think we'll pick the Soviet Union T3M2 for a cargo train. Really expensive. Actually, it's way too expensive. So we'll sell that, actually. Yes, we'll pick the cheaper one, the CME2 from Czechoslovakia. There we go. And we'll stick a open wagon on that. And then we'll do the same again, because we'll need two of the bad boys. There we go. Just drag her over. Lovely. And then double click it. So the first stop will be the open part beside the plant. Take it down here. So in the first stop, we'll need to wait until it's loaded, and we'll unload the uranium oxide. And on the second stop, we'll unload the uranium oxide there, and we'll tell them to wait at both places, because if these plants are full, I want the trains just to sit in, basically constantly unloading. I don't want them going back and forth wasting fuel. So I can just tell him to go, and in the second train, I'll just do exactly the same for this kitty. Load, full load of that, wait for a full load of that. Just like that. Cannot launch train, no free rail track. That's fine. We'll just let the first train go. Can I launch you now? No. Need to wait till it passes the first semaphore, I think. I'll just stick a semaphore right there. And that should let them go. There we go. Cool. First couple of wee trains. Now, the other thing I'll need to do, which I haven't got is I'll need to stick down a diesel pump station for the trains to refuel them. Now, where will I put that? I put that just down here in this area. Train diesel station. Yeah, we'll need one of them. Stick this train diesel station. We'll stick it just opposite this plant here. It can be like another offshoot of our plant part. Wait until he passes that semaphore. Can look like an add-on to our power plant. If it'll fit. Get it lined up properly. And eventually we'll have a diesel train that'll come down here and it'll refuel this this diesel station. Because initially we'll import our diesel, and then once we get some oil pumps on the go, we will make it ourselves. There we go, that's set up, and then we will need to, I think none of this is powered actually. I don't think any of this is powered. I don't think the nuclear power plant or anything has a power connection, no. So we'll need to get a electrical substation and power this whole lot. We'll stick it in like, can we stick it in this side? Nah. Stick it in sort of angled. Or straight. Yeah, we'll stick in straight. There we go. Bring us up and round. And as I said before, we'll just take it to the nearest transformer, rough as anything to start with. Lovely. Now we have a problem here because this is where I can actually show you how to use chain signals. So the problem here is if I put a semaphore here, then essentially if I had more than one train, and even though these are really small trains and this isn't a good example, but imagine this train was long. It means that when it was stopped at this semaphore, it would block this junction. So I don't want any trains to really stop at this semaphore. So what you do instead would be to change this to a chain signal. And what this means is this chain signal will look down the lines and see if one of these two signals are green or not. So this signal here being red means that it won't allow that to basically go through that signal. But because this one up here is green, it should, probably won't do it now because I've been messing around. But turn it around, turn it back, and I tell you also why it's not doing it is because I don't have a signal here, because there we go. Yeah, so now you can see that signal has actually gone blue instead of red. It's just gone off now. But it basically means it's blue because one of them's red, which is this one, and this one's green. So it allows this train to pass. It also means that if you've got longer trains, it doesn't allow a train to go into this section, which is really handy when you're making complex rail routes that have enormous trains on it, or really big trains on it. So that's working away. But we still don't have any workers for our glorious nuclear uranium processing plants. So what we're going to do is we're going to expand the town of Brospyne, and we were going to delete this bridge because a wooden bridge is probably not good for what we're going to be doing. Also, is probably getting close to a time where we're going to need to take it alone, because I don't think the rest of this is going to I don't think we're going to fund the rest of a creation of a nuclear power plant with 500,000 rubles. I don't think that's going to be possible. So delete the roads, because I'm going to be sticking in my own roads. Flatten some of this land off. It's going to be flat to here, close to the town. It's this original town itself, Can we actually, we can expand into here, that's interesting, that'll be good. Very nice looking. I'll expand it to along here. We'll just take a start at the town road up to there. Lovely, and that gives us a base to work on. Pardon me. So now from here, I'm going to have this town of Brospyne on sort of a double. It's going to have up here, which is going to be like the old town, and then down here along the side of the river is going to be like the new town. And that house is levitating because it'd be messing. I'll just delete that house, but it's going to be like a new town along the bottom here with all the newer sort of buildings. I'll delete that wee house. Can I delete them? Yeah, I can do. Sometimes when you do the terraforming, you can hit things like that, but you can never fix it again because it won't allow you to terraform around buildings. So I'll just delete it for aesthetics. But anyway, so what we'll do now is we'll place a couple of buildings up here at the top, residential buildings, because that's what we're going to need to do. Is we're going to need to increase the town capacity. We're also going to need to add in maybe a bus station, probably a bus station down here, and maybe another bus station up beside the plant itself. I might be able to squeeze it into one, but I don't think I will, so I'll probably put 2 bus stations down. Up here in this area, I'll pick these. There's lots of different styles of Soviet architecture. No, get citizens. We have stuff ranging from like your Arma buildings. That's what I like to refer them as, because they look just like if you're on Arma 2 in Chernogorsk. Same with the flats. Then you have like sort of your nicer prefabs. Probably a good term. Nicer prefab flats as well. And then more sort of Chernogorsk buildings, same as that. And you also get these just absolutely delightful, like Chernobyl buildings, just pure concrete. It's like when they make a Holiday Inn Express at an airport, but then they just forgot to put the outside cladding on it. So you have them, and then right at the bottom you've got what we'll be using in the city, which is like your old style prefab tenements, which are quite nice looking, to be honest. Again, more like a sort of like Tarkov customs buildings. But we'll be using the Arma 2 Chernogorsk buildings here, and I'll put a few up beside the plant itself, I think. They're lined up properly. Yeah, a few in here. We'll need to remember to leave space for shops and tennis courts and stuff to actually make our citizens happy, because at the moment it's kind of there's not much going for it this town with just a couple of uranium processing plants and a set of houses. You couldn't pay anyone to live here. Saying that, we're not going to pay any of our citizens anyway, so I suppose it doesn't really matter. And then I might see if I can squeeze a wee hussy in just at the end here, maybe. I'll squeeze you in, line you up maybe. There we go. Line you up, something like that. That'll allow us to get a tennis court or something in there. Then what we'll do is we will go to the equipment, and I'll stick down a small shopping centre to basically try and feed the whole of this town. I'll shove it at the end of the old town before we try and bring this down. Put it here, and we'll also get a pub, which we'll also put in the old town, around about this area maybe. And I'm going to eventually I'm going to start off anyway by making our city somewhat accessible by private vehicle, so that if anybody is without work or connections or anything like that. They can eventually, later down the line, when we start creating our own vehicles, they'll be able to drive to these places. So maybe put one there. Get rid of this power cable. This is what I'm saying. I'll stick them down first and then I'll go over it. Now I'll just put a few car parks down beside the processing plants, and that means that these car parks will provide basically transport into both of these plants eventually once we get up and running, and citizens can drive to them if they choose to. You can micromanage in this game where you can say like these citizens will go to this bus stop, go to this industry at such and such a percent, but screw that. We're no about percentages here. We'll be doing it off the cuff and flying by the tail of our pants or whatever the fucking saying is. There we go. Anyway, what I'll do is I'll take some more traffic lights around to here maybe. Take it to, actually, probably easier taking this in first to about here. We'll also need another road in to here. Try and make this look smart as possible, like that maybe. Kinda something like that. This will be the outside connection into the town, and this will be the car park connection for the processing plants, which I will take off of here. There we go. Cool. Cool. And then something like, something like that. Go for that. We S-bend. We chicane in the middle of the town, and unfortunately that doesn't quite connect there. What we'll do though is, well, we'll just redo it up until that point. Chicane's got a bit tamer. Like something like that maybe. Into 10 like that. There and there. Perfect. Perfect. Or something like that. Maybe not perfect, but looks good in my head. And then we'll take that straight on, which should allow us to, no, computer says no. Computer says no. Nah, that's one say no. Lovely, and then we can take this one straight over there. Connect that in somewhere? Yes? Aye. Over here like that. And then that could be the road, or will be the road, out of the town. And then just connect each house here. Bit of a wonk in that just step down there, a bit wonky there, but never read. And a bit like that. And then we'll come along just like that. Might add in another arm house here. Fill out this area. Actually, no, we'll put some tennis courts. Give them some more. Put a tennis court in here. Because we will have to fill this area paths and that. Let them walk around more freely. Tennis courts in there. They've got their shopping centre. A cinema? Nah, it's a bit overkill. Do a football pitch maybe. Poor guys will have to play that awful sport. There we go. So that'll be like the old town section of Brospyne, and then down here we'll put some nicer flats, bigger flats, a lot more population down here. I'll leave the paths for just now. I might do the paths off camera because paths can be a bit tedious. But I will take this road down if I can. it'll let me. I'll do. And then into. Yeah, she'll do it. She'll do it. Cool. That's us down to that level now as well. Pretty roughly, to be honest. Pretty roughly. Flatten that out a wee bit. There we go. Much better. Much better. Nice, 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 nice. Right, so now we need to work out where we're going to put our bus station, because I want to have this connected also to the city. The way the transport works in this game, and it takes a little bit to get used to it, is if you've got workers going from one place to another, they won't take different transport methods to get there. They will sit on a bus and they'll go to that destination, and if there's work there, they'll get off and go to it. If there's not work there, they'll go to the next stop. But that's basically the extent of it. If the first stop has all the workplaces filled, they'll go to the next stop. But they won't go to multiple different transports. They won't get off a bus, go into a train, and go to somewhere else, which takes a little bit getting used to. It means you kind of have to have all your stuff, like all your like entertainment, the shopping and all that within one stop of your citizens, essentially, or else they sit on buses for too long, or they get off at a stop where they don't have everything that they need to do, or different things like that, you know. So it's better just to have everything at least within one stop of where they're wanting to go. So we'll stick down a bus platform, see if we can sneak it in here. Just sneak it just off. No, Pure says no. Right, we'll take that back just a little bit. Try again. The danger is as well with terraforming at different levels, really close to buildings, is it can do a lot of like shadow tearing. If you take a look up, sometimes you can see like almost shadow tearing in places that you've terraformed. I can't show you any examples yet because we haven't done anything extreme, but you do see it when you do really harsh differences in elevation on your land. The other thing I did when I was away, hopefully it wasn't that noticeable, was so that this the chairlift went over the river properly. I basically molded the river to look like it naturally went under that area, even though it doesn't. I actually want it to be about this wide. That's why you can see all the grasses trying to grow back in that area. But hopefully that looks a little bit nicer. As I say, some of this terraforming might look hellish, but we'll make it look pretty as we go along. So anyway, I'll get this bus station hooked up. So we'll go to about there, pick this up. Lovely. Now, when we connect this up, I'll need to somehow get a path up to this next level, which will be an interesting but achievable. There you go. Wasn't that difficult actually. See if I can get this tucked in here. Take it back a wee bit. There maybe. No, building in the way. Cancel. If I take you back a bit, and I'll take you in manually, and about there. There we go. That's what I want. Nice, 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 nice. So that should allow that bus station, hopefully, to reach this building once I put all the paths in, and once they have a route basically right the way through all these buildings. So hopefully that'll sort that. Then from down here, we'll also want a road coming off. Whereabouts? Our flattening tool out again. Oh, take a bit of the river route with it. Like a keeper river. Take the flattening tool out. Around the side here. And we'll stick in our rod around. Shove her in there. And this, what I'm thinking about doing with this is it'll be the connection by bridge over to the capital, and it'll also be the door. That'll be the entrance to the nuclear power plant. So it'll be like a crossroads. This will be the exit from the town out, going over the rail, and we'll have the entrance to the nuclear plant going under the rail by under a tunnel. That way, being a nuclear power plant, you want to keep this secure. The only entrance to it will be through a tunnel, which is pretty secure, especially not in the 1960s, I suppose. But nowadays, when you got terrorists, the easiest way in for a terrorist into a nuclear power plant is to drive through the front door with a bomb truck, and they'll not be able to do that if there's only one way in, and it's by under a bridge. So that's the thinking through that anyway. One of the things you learn when you grow up next to a nuclear power plant is the security that goes into keeping it running. So what we'll do is we'll put some, what do we think? What nice prefabs have we got here? What can we shove in? That'll just make this area look smashing. What about if we do... Those kiddies are nice, wee dinky wee things. Maybe what do I think? One in like, or these guys? Nah. Indecisive, man. Indecisive. Someone's trying to call me. I'll patch that for the moment. Right. What were we up to? These things. Right. Got a few of these bad boys in. We'll do a nice prefab area down here. Do a little space. Put another one down like that. We'll also use maybe these ones. These ones actually might be quite smart for the waterfront. Along here. Along here. And what we'll do is I'll have one prefab, maybe a smaller one. That's the one. That's what I'm fucking looking for. And then what we can do is in this middle section, we can put a few car parks, because we're thoughtful. If anybody has a car, that's where they'll park it. A couple of car parks down in there. Can we stick in something to make them happy? Maybe a tennis court in this area, because this is going to be quite bare when we put everything in. Yeah, just there. Cool. Cool. Like that. Take the roads along now. Lovely. Then basically all we need to do is below the trees, do all the paths, and that's the town of Brospyne, probably close to being finished. Might put a few more buildings in here maybe. Maybe a little bit more parking, a couple of more buildings along this road. But that's probably what we'll just keep it at for just now, unless we need to expand it later. It's plenty big enough for the 2 processing plants, and if anybody else needs work, they can travel into the city for more work. We'll upgrade this road here. Attach all these in There we go. Right, 2 seconds, going to take that phone call. Sorry about that. I just had an emergency call from my pal. I'm a plumber IRL, and he just had a problem with his toilet. It was pissing water everywhere, so I had a emergency phone call to sort that out. But we're back to Workers and Resources, Soviet Republic, and we've just got about 5 minutes left, so we'll wrap up this episode by first of all watching this, having the satisfying bit about just building a town, and clicking the play and watch it all come together. And spending all those rubles. Are we going to run out of rubles? That's the thing. Probably are, actually. Might take out a loan. Beautiful. Look at that. Absolutely fucking beautiful. Look at that. So now, off camera next, I'll shove in all the path work and I'll go over it with you after. And I might add in a couple of wee little bits to spruce up the town, add in a bit of trees around it as well. And all that means is now essentially this nuclear power plant, apart from the cooling towers, is essentially able to be up and running. It just needs people ferried in, and once that's done, you know, we're fleeing. So I'm just going to wrap it up here, guys. So I hope you've had fun sticking around and watching some of this. It's been a pleasure again, and I'll see you in the next episode for us growing this beautiful nation into what it rightfully should be, the glorious Soviet Republic. Catch!